What is the latest sa kanyang kaso, Quinito? And what are the implications of yung nangyari kay Justin Brownlee?
Very timely question yan, Com Noli. At ang ginawa ko to be able to get to the bottom of it, nag-usap kami ni Barangay Ginebra PBA Governor Alfrancis Chua, also happens to be the team manager of the Gilas team that won the gold medal sa Asian Games. Kahapon po sa opisina ni Gov. Alfrancis, pumunta po ako at nag-usap kami ng siguro over 1 hour to talk about Justin Brownlee and what could possibly be ahead for Gilas in the international realm. Now, si Justin Brownlee, again, just to be able to recap kung ano nangyari sa kanya, 2 samples were taken, urine samples, pagkatapos ng laro. So, after the game, he was led to a room where his urine was extracted. It wasn't a very easy process kasi may linya yan eh. So, may queue. So, pagkatapos ng laro, he was brought to the room. He finished at about 1 a.m. Okay, 1 a.m. So 2 samples were taken. The first sample, yung tinatawag natin na sample A, had what they call an adverse analytical finding or AAF. That means he tested positive for a bad substance. Hindi po performance enhancing drug was found in his urine, kundi cannabis. So this apparently has been taken by Justin Brownlee to relieve the pain and for medicinal purposes as prescribed by his doctor. Kasi para si Justin Brownlee just about I would say about a month before the start of the FIBA World Cup. Kanya nga siya hindi nakalaro sa FIBA World Cup. Ito sasabihin ko na, no, Com Noli. He was supposed to play for the Philippines in the FIBA World Cup. Pero because of his injury, napasok si Jordan Clarkson.
So, ibig mo sabihin, lalaro si Brownlee instead na si Clarkson? Yun ang mangyayari dapat?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Yan ang pasya ng SBP, yan din ang pasya ng head coach and the complete management of Gilas. Justin Brownlee was supposed to play for the Philippines. Pero nung nangyari that he had bone spurs in his foot, they had to undergo arthroscopic surgery on him. 3 places sa kanyang paa. They were able to extract those bone spurs. So hindi siya nakalaro. Jordan Clarkson came in. So that's something like an untold story behind the FIBA World Cup. But be that as it may, he was taking this medication, lumabas sa kanyang urine sample. Ngayon, he had until last Thursday to contest yung sample A. The process of contesting is you go to sample B. Pero ang sabi naman ng ating team manager, si Alfrancis Chua, ba't pa natin i-contest? Kasi nag-positive na sa sample A. Yung sample B, if you contest, they will open up sample B and they will test it. It came from the same person. It came about the same time. It was extracted from the same urine. So, ang sabi nila, let's not contest it because if you contest it, baka hindi maganda ang dating sa mga doping authorities para kina-question natin yung credibility ng kanilang testing devices. So, what has happened here is from an adverse analytical finding or AAF, this will become an anti-doping rule violation, which is called AARV. And that means subject to sanction by not only by WADA or the World Anti-Doping Association, but also by FIBA. Now, looking at the past penalties.
Quinito, before you go ahead, bakit kasama ang FIBA dyan? Bakit kasama ang penalty from FIBA when the Asian Games is not a FIBA tournament? Yung mga nagtatanong, may mga ganun eh. Bakit ganun?
Yes. Because international federation ang FIBA under the rules of the Olympic Council of Asia. Although yung basketball was not an Olympic qualifier and also was not under the FIBA eligibility sanctions, meaning to say yung eligibility ng Olympic Council of Asia for basketball in the Asian Games different from FIBA. Still, FIBA officials were used, FIBA operating rules of the game were used. Kanya in that perspective, under the purview then ng FIBA. So when it comes to doping, especially since it's a very sensitive matter, they will go to the International Federation for proper sanctioning. Now, ang SPP has already studied what are the possible penalties that could be given. Assuming that hindi na natin i-contest, and it looks like we will not contest. That has been the decision. So, there has been a case where an NBA player playing in an international competition was found positive for cannabis, he was given 3-month suspension.
Okay.
Okay. There was another athlete, not related to basketball necessarily, no, who also tested positive for cannabis, but was able to provide a medical prescription from the doctors, saying that kailangan niyang gumamit ng cannabis for medicinal purposes. That suspension was only for 1 month.
Wow.
So, ang tinitignan natin dito, anywhere between 1 to 3 months ang suspension. But I don't think we should disrespect FIBA. I don't think we should contest this vehemently. I think we should just accept what has been the situation and also provide the medical prescription ng doktor to be able to comply with this kind of process ng FIBA. No? So we're always hoping that happens. Now, here's something that I mentioned to Gov. Al Francis Chua, that in some cases, FIBA, in giving the suspension, they will look at the point of extraction of the urine sample as the point where they will determine the number of days for suspension.
Reckoning point.
Yes, oo. So, Pom, I'm very, very hopeful, if not optimistic, no, that if the ruling is, let's say, 1 month suspension, if you go back to October 7, matatapos yung suspension November 7.
Halos kakabukas lang ng PBA.
Yes, ang umpisa ng PBA is November 5. So, I mean, that is probably the most that we can hope for. That number one, it will be a 1 month suspension, and number two, that the reckoning period can be at the point of extraction of the urine sample.
Okay.
Now, we don't know whether that will be granted, but we're all hoping and praying that things will be okay naman for Justin, because he is our national hero, he is a national treasure, and he did take cannabis, which, by the way, is no longer a bad substance in the NBA. He took it for medicinal purposes. He didn't take it as a recreational drug.
Quinito,
it's certainly not a performance-enhancing substance.
Let me ask you, will the PBA comply, in other words, with a possible potential suspension kay Brownlee? Yan din ba ay susundan ng PBA?
Yes. Kung anong sasabihin ng FIBA, that is an application that will go through all the different leagues where Brownlee is associated with.
Okay.
Also, during the suspension, hindi pwede makapractice si Brownlee.
Hindi siya pwede maglaro, di ba?
He cannot join any team in any gym because that is something that is part of his suspension. The only way that he can practice or that he can train is that if he goes alone, if he's the only person in the gym, the only person in the facility, and he has no contact with any other person in that facility or gym, that is part of the suspension.
Parang yung nangyari kay Kiefer Ravena, kung saan hindi rin siya nakapag-practice only by himself. Kaya naman gumaling yung golf game ni Kiefer Ravena nung panahon na yun.